Mariah May's time in All Elite Wrestling has been perfect. There have not been many characters in recent memory who have made such an immediate impact on the professional wrestling scene in North America like she has when she came into AEW in 2024. And there's not many who can honestly say that for their first year, they were built up to be one of the key faces of their company. And that is truly what I believe Mariah May is right now. When she was first brought onto the scene as Toni Storm's assistant, Toni Storm's little sidekick, it was a very fun deal. She came in with a little bit of hype, but not many people in North America had really seen her wrestle at that point, so she was a relatively new commodity. But there was always something from the beginning that kind of clicked, and the chemistry that she had with Toni Storm really showed. And as the feud and the angles between the two carried on, you saw that there was not only just chemistry with these two on the screen as a pupil and a teacher, but there was the potential for this to be something more. There was the potential for this to eventually turn into a fantastic story where the pupil double crosses the teacher. And over time it had been teased, but for months and months and months, it didn't happen. Instead, Mariah May was right there with Toni Storm by her side to prove to her that she was indeed Toni Storm's biggest fan. And it wasn't until the Owen Hart tournament in 2024 when the seeds were planted for Mariah May's eventual turn, when she announced that she was going to be in the Owen Hart Cup and that the winner was going to get a shot at Toni Storm's title. Toni Storm did not say, "Why are you doing that?" She did not begrudgingly accept this. She was happy, and she wanted Mariah May to win, because in the storyline, Mariah May had built trust with Toni Storm. Mariah May and Toni Storm were a genuine pair. And that moment when Mariah May, after defeating Willow Nightingale in the Owen Hart Cup final, won the tournament and was announced as the number one contender for the AEW World Championship against Toni Storm at All In, it was jubilation. It was absolute celebration until Mariah May watched for the shoe, much like Toni Storm had told her many times before. Mariah May delivered one of the most epic and shocking beatdowns that we have ever seen, leaving us viewers at home with one of the most iconic shots of an ending of a wrestling show in recent memory, of Mariah May looking over a bloody, beat-down Toni Storm with the blood-stained shoe in her hand to prove that this pair had indeed split. And from then on, Mariah May was no longer the sidekick. She was no longer the happy-go-lucky, new, plucky underdog babyface. She was a bona fide badass heel. And that is what she has been since then. And the legend of Mariah May has only grown. In the ring, she is one of their best talents. And you are going to be hard-pressed to find a horrible Mariah May match, especially one on a prime time location like pay-per-view or otherwise. She is just truly one of the best out there right now. But the way she was booked to not only turn on Toni Storm, but then win in London at All In at Wembley Stadium, and then go on to defend the title against the likes of former champions like Thunder Rosa or Willow Nightingale, Mariah May proved throughout her title reign that she was a bona fide star and that she was a very great wrestler. And when her title reign maybe was about to fall into a little bit of redundancy, the most interesting thing that could have happened. Toni Storm returned, and the anger that we saw in Mariah May as Toni Storm returned and initially did her gimmick of amnesia, only to then reveal that she was indeed timeless Toni Storm the entire time, The anger built and built and built in Mariah May. And to look at where she was when she first entered AEW and where she got to, the character arc and the development that we've seen out of her is nothing less than spectacular. Mariah May transformed from a plucky underdog to a badass heel to eventually a woman gone mad, driven mad by timeless Toni Storm, her antics, and most of all, her ability to get the best of the glamour Mariah May. And when she beat her at Australia, we saw a new version of Mariah May appear. We saw a character develop before our very eyes. We saw her go a little bit insane, and it led to one of the greatest matches in the history of All Elite Wrestling at AEW Revolution. Mariah May, Toni Storm, Women's World Championship on the line in a Hollywood ending befitting of the feud that was set before it. And the drama, the expressions on their face, you could tell that these two went out there and intentionally wanted to do something special. They wanted to prove and truly give this storyline an ending befitting everything that came before it. And it would not have been possible without the work, without the expertise and the talent of Mariah May, and it also would not have been possible without the booking. It is reported that RJ City, along with Toni Storm and Mariah May, have had great input into this story, and without him and others in AEW, it would not have been possible for this version of this character to see the light of day. And it's a testament to the ability of creating an act that is over consistently. Mariah May was not always competing for a belt. She was not even always consistently wrestling, but she was always present and she was always top of mind. And slowly but surely, the fans begin to care about her, only to have it ripped away and then be angry at her, only for them to grow interested in the direction that this insane Mariah May character has taken. And at the end of the day, that is what you want. You want the fans to feel. Whether it's good or bad, you want them to feel about the person. You want their presence to elicit an emotional response. And throughout her entire time in AEW, that is exactly what Mariah May has done. She's had banger match after banger match after banger match, and she has truly been perfect.